bound to the ground, humankind would find themselves suspended with the stars one day. Before we grazed the cosmos, we had to amuse the boundaries of the troposphere. A pair of brothers with a dream and too much free time would change this. Not only did the Wright brothers famously defeat the Mario brothers, but they also invented the plane. They would also inadvertently invent the fear of flying. As a consequence, this folded piece of paper would now be forever known as the paper airplane. Though the paper airplane existed well before Wilbur and Orville dissolved into the sky, and the paper airplane went by an ever so slightly different name. Paper darts. If you fought in the Civil War, this is common knowledge. The paper dart and paper plane are of equivalence, the only difference being the name. Before planes took to the sky, paper darts populated the hands of those with the special ability to throw things. However, paper flight itself began elsewhere. I just gotta get some help on finding where though. The first tree was built. Animals evolved into people. People unbuilt the trees. Some people folded paper. Some people threw the folded paper. Paper flight was now a concept. Paper would be folded into many shapes, with the goal of hitting that sick airtime. Bro, the earliest iteration of the paper plane was thought to be more shaped like a kite, founded and folded in the year 0. In China, during the Han Dynasty. With paper, it seems that China was really hands-on. Then, in the late 1400s, you'd have Leonardo da Vinci hypothesizing that if paper can fly, a person can be attached to the paper and also fly. This would ultimately lead to his death. Early paper airplanes in the late 1800s even took the shape of birds, according to this article linking me to this very specific page in a very specific book. But by this point, paper darts were already invented. It was simply a matter of time before planes would be too. Before planes, these pointy pieces of paper were just a fun toy to throw around. There wasn't a more elegant way to poke somebody's eye out. Paper darts maintained popularity throughout the 19th and 20th century. They were a representation of imagination, rebellion, and fun. Paper was cheap, and tossing them into a crowd of people was free. Except at the New York Stock Exchange, where if you threw one of these bad boys, you would be fined $10, which is about an arm and a leg in today's money. I lost all my limbs due to my gambling addiction. The transition from the name paper darts to paper airplanes took some time though. Aviation development and popularity with the general population would peak when President 35 took a 6.5 to his mind. These fancy new fighter jets being built looked so much cooler than their predecessors and started to resemble the shape of paper darts. Then, with just a little bit of time, paper darts and airplanes were virtually indistinguishable from one another. Thus, paper darts were now known as paper airplanes. Paper plane, if you wanted to save a syllable. Presently, paper planes are still a representation of ingenuity. That's a vague enough statement to mean something to everyone. Look into the sky, and you're bound to see at least one paper plane. Don't see any? You better get the folding. If deforestation means more paper airplanes, I must be the one-slur. Michelangelo once famously said, "Dude, there's somebody stuck in this rock. Get me my hammer and chisel." I once famously said, "Dude, there is an airplane stuck in this piece of paper. Get me my folding hands." A blank sheet of paper could be so much more, but by itself, it is enough. After all, even an unfolded piece of paper can still take flight.